Welcome back to the Higher Ground Project. This is a podcast that gets real about what it's like to be on the job hunt today in today's chaos economy. I'm David Peterson.
And I'm Doug Kimball. And if your job search right now is feeling like a kind of a cross between Groundhog Day and the Hunger Games, you're definitely not alone out there.
Now, this podcast is your platform. Every week, Doug and I are going to sit down with a guest who's actively navigating this completely insane job market. And we unpack their journey, their insights, and their hard-earned wisdom.
And we'll unpack and talk about, to your point, some of the real strategies, the frustrations, and hopefully the occasional wins that can help you stay afloat and hopefully rise above, as we keep saying, this chaotic job market.
Now, before we get started, we wanted to send a big thank you to our sponsor, Think Strategic Alliances. This is a great group of folks driving visibility and opportunities for fractional marketing leaders. Every guest we feature is showcased on their portfolio page, and they help them connect with companies that need real expertise right now.
And speaking about expertise, our guest today brings years of marketing background and leadership, a sharp wit, and unfortunately, a whole collection of rejection emails. So we're very excited to welcome Stephanie Wisdom.
Now, Stephanie is a seasoned marketing executive, most recently serving as Senior Director of Customer and Content Marketing in the B2B SaaS world. She's led strategy, she's built brand voice, and she's driven growth across customer relationships and storytelling.
And her superpower, one of my favorite, is making complex technical information sound clear, human, conversational, and I think also relatable. And building strong, trusted relationships with customers is second nature to her.
But right now, unfortunately, just like so many of us top-tier professionals, Stephanie is deep in the job market maze, ghosting, 8 rounds of interviews, you name it, she's seen it.
So Stephanie, welcome to the Higher Ground Project.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We're so happy you're here. Now, the first thing we do on this podcast is we start with a section called Clear the Pipes. Now, Stephanie, this is your chance to vent, no sugarcoating. So tell us, what has been the hardest part of your job search so far?
Massive ghosting, but that's quickly tied with just interview after interview after interview. The number of interviews that you have to go through these days, look, I just aged myself, but these days, the amount of interviews you have to go through, it's insane, you guys. I'm interviewing for a company right now, and they have alerted me to the fact that they're a 9-round interview company with a project, 9 rounds and a project. I don't know how people are staying sane in this job market.
And then you do all that work or in between, after the first interview or the hope, and that silence becomes somewhat deafening. And you're kind of sitting there going, I put all this energy and this time and this, this process, and then.
Absolutely. And it's not just me. I'm really lucky to belong to a peer pod on Slack where a bunch of us from LinkedIn that were job searching came together, and we meet on Slack every day, kind of just go through what we're dealing with on a daily basis, but not only sit there and let each other know that we're not alone in this process, but also lifting each other up. Like when one of us has an interview, really lifting and cheering for that person behind the scenes. So that's really helpful. But Doug, to your point, it's not just me that's going through this. It's not just me that's seeing this. It is literally across the board. I've gone through interviews where I've gotten to the 4th or 5th round, and then I've been ghosted after that. And that's really oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead, David.
No, please finish.
Oh, no, I was just saying, and to me and to many of the people that I'm communicating with, that's really just a lack of decency, really. I understand, as well as everybody else, that those talent acquisition employees that are out there that are really doing a great job trying to get people in for interviews, I understand that. But when you're getting to the 5th, 6th, 7th round with a company, they're not interviewing 20 people for this role at that point. They have 3, max 5, and then no one's even reaching out to let you know, hey, you're not going to go past, interview number 6. That's just it's disheartening, really.
I completely agree with you. And you made a really good point earlier about community and how important that is for the job search. Now, when I'm talking to people who've just gone to the job market, I say, it's so important for your mental health to surround yourself with people who truly understand this job market and won't ask you questions every day about how the search is going, or why don't you try this, or why don't you pivot to this, which you've heard a million times. It's so great to be able to meet with like-minded people who truly understand what you're going through on a first-hand basis. And I read something really interesting on LinkedIn the other day, to your point, Stephanie, where if a pope can be chosen in 7 days, they can figure out how to hire you in less than 3 months, right?
Can I give that an amen? I mean, we were talking about the Pope. But no, you're absolutely right now. But seriously, it's just for those that do have roles right now, and they're seeing this landscape with so many people that are looking. I think some of the best things that you can tell those colleagues, those friends, that those connections that you have that are looking is, I'm here for you. Is there a reference I can offer you? Is there a recommendation I can make for you? Even look at who I'm following on LinkedIn. Is there anyone on here that you would like me to connect you with? Because I can do that. Those are 3 really helpful things that you can do as someone that has a job to help someone right now that's out of a job. And it'll lift that person up a little bit. It's just a little more detailed than saying, oh, there's something out there for you and it'll come to you. Believe me, we're all waiting.
That's such great feedback. And to David's point about community, that's how David and I met, is just kind of establishing a network connection. That's how you and I have met.
Yep.
And, there's unfortunately literally thousands of us out there doing the same kind of thing. The more we can lift each other up and help to showcase, which we're trying to do with the Higher Ground Project, it creates an opportunity. So on that same vein, so again, obviously, Stephanie, you've been doing the same thing we're doing, pushing that button, saying what's out there. Let's shift the gears a bit and talk about what makes you amazing. What's one of your marketing superpowers that you could call out and say, this makes Stephanie unique?
Something that really would make me stand out is, aside from the experience that I'm bringing, because I do have, oh my gosh, I think I have 25 years of marketing experience. I started doing this when I was a fetus. So yeah, so a lot of marketing experience. Obviously, I'm going to bring that to the table. But I think what really makes me stand out is my empathy. I am an empathetic leader, and I don't believe that I have to have a team reporting to me in order to be a leader. I have a leadership mindset that comes with a huge side of empathy. I am a people first person, which I believe makes me a really strong customer marketer, because that is my strong suit. I want to be able to be empathetic to people. I want to meet people where they are. And I have a natural ability, I guess. I don't know if it's a superpower, but I like to listen to people, and not only listen, hear them, because people can listen and not hear. So I like to do a little bit of both. Yeah.
Listening is so important. And if you're a hiring manager looking for an amazing marketing superstar, I can vouch for Stephanie. When we were on our pre-call, the empathy, as you can see in this video call, comes through loud and clear. And it's palpable, and it's not something that you can put on a resume. A skill set is not empathy, unfortunately. It should be, but it's not really. It's a title you can give yourself, but it's also a title that somebody else needs to validate, and they can't do it through a piece of paper. They have to have the conversation with you. And so what we're hearing in the through line of these episodes that Doug and I put together are incredible, amazing talent like you, who has a wonderful resume, but maybe the margins aren't wide enough, so ATS isn't picking it up. And all of a sudden, you don't get a first round interview where people could see right out the gate how empathetic and smart and prepared you are. So we, especially us folks who have been 15, 20, 25 years in our career, this is really the wall that we're hitting, which is how do we get across the idea that our skill set transcends the resume without even talking to somebody?
Right, 100%. And I think too, and I know Doug, you've dealt with this as well, is I'm very particular in the roles that I'm applying for. I've heard so many, there's a lot of information that's flying out around LinkedIn right now from recruiters, from, talent acquisition specialists. A lot of them are saying, oh, only apply to the roles where you meet 100% of the requirements. But then you're seeing the other side where they're saying, oh, you only meet 80, 75, 80, apply anyway. I'm really particular in the roles that I'm applying for because really at this stage in the game, company culture is a huge thing for me. And I'm doing my due diligence. Before I apply to a role, I'm looking at the company. I'm learning about what that company does. I'm going over to Glassdoor. I'm seeing what people have said about that company. I'm looking online. I'm seeing what people have said about that company. I'm stalking legally their employees online, looking to see what they've said about the companies they work for, because that's really important to me. You know, you can apply for a role, you can get in, you can have an interview, you can go through the, I don't know, dozen interview process. You can land at that company and then find out that their culture was on paper, but it's not being, lived through that company. And that's something that's really important to me. So not only am I applying for roles where I specifically meet those requirements, so I know I can come in there and help that company be successful, but I'm also only applying to companies where I can already feel that culture that they're representing.
Which I think is so important because it is, like you said, I'm looking at a lot of different opportunities, but if it
Mhm.
just doesn't feel like a place where I would enjoy working, a lot of my times, my interviews, people ask me what gets you up. I say, I want to have fun at work. And
Yeah.
fun doesn't mean I'm sipping a cocktail at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, it might. No, sorry. But it doesn't mean that. But I want to, get done with my day and feel like I enjoyed what I did. Even if I'm working hard and I'm working long hours,
Yeah.
I want to have fun while I'm doing that. And that you can't pay to replace fun.
That's right. That's right. And I agree with you wholeheartedly because, when I've interviewed, people always tend to ask, well, tell me a bit about yourself. If I'm being honest, if I'm in that work mode and you're looking at my resume, you see everything about my work. I have literally been in the same industry since I was 22 years old, and I've never left. But that's also the interesting fact about me. I love what I do at such a level that I have never even thought about pivoting to do something else. I really love marketing, particularly customer marketing.
And with you, what you've talked about, I mean, relationship building, which is what you've talked about
Mhm.
from customer marketing and the empathetic leader, et cetera, all those things, that's a force multiplier in what we do in marketing. And
Mhm.
so you're really bringing this more of a humanizing the technology and humanizing the people and the relationships between them. That makes you, I think, a step ahead of the game in a lot of places.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to think that I bring a relaxed, kind of laid back, fun approach to all customer interactions. If we're talking very specifically about customer marketing, I think where a lot of people maybe get pulled off track with that is when they're talking to customers, they feel as if they have to be this buttoned up, super focused professional. But if we think about it, sales has already closed the deal. They've brought in this marketer. Now, my role as a customer marketer, I feel, is to really take that customer and change it from a transactional partnership to a real meaningful partnership. So something I like to do, I have a lot of on-camera time with customers. If we're talking like events, interviewing, etc. What I really like to do is get them to relax and let them know, hey, I'm not here for you to have to act like you have all the solutions in the world. I'm not here to pretend that the company that I work for has all the solutions in the world. But I want to talk to you like you are a real human that has had, issues at their company. They've had the challenges. And whatever my company has done for you, we've helped you fix those challenges. So let's just talk a little bit and just be really relaxed about it. And then, and then we can take that conversation and turn it into that polished professional thing that marketing is looking for. But you have to really get to that customer at an emotional level. Just say, hey, we're going to be friends and we're going to talk about this together because not only do you have that challenge, but there are 100 other companies out there that have that same challenge. So how can we talk to all those companies on a very basic level and just get that buy-in? It's all very just relational.
And this skill set that you're talking about, Stephanie, which is so important, it's really just grounded in humanity, right?
Mhm.
So you want to work for an organization that prioritizes humanity over maybe achievement or what you can put down on a piece of paper. You
Mhm.
really want to get to know customers. Customers probably trust
Yeah.
marketers more when they feel
Yeah.
like they have not just a professional, like, here's what I need you to do relationship, but more of like, oh, I know Stephanie
Yeah.
relationship. And again, this is not something, I mean, everything that you just said could be maybe put on a resume somewhere in some way, shape, or form, but this is the type of information you get out of a conversation with somebody. And so, I know how frustrating it must be for you, and I know for me and Doug, that we have this incredible skill set that we're not even able to get off the ground with so many companies because we're not even given a first look, right?
Yeah.
So this is all wonderful. And again, this is stuff that we've heard time and time again from people in your position who have a wealth of great experience and who just need a door open from a company that understands that they're hiring a human being, right?
Yeah.
And you are more than what's on your resume, as you should be. If you're not, and they're hiring people like that, that's probably not a company that you want to work for. But again, it's so frustrating to not even get your foot in the door with even a first conversation when you have so much to offer. Now, let's pivot to, well, not really pivoting to the job search. We're still talking about the job search, but I would love to get an understanding from you, hearing what we've heard today. You've been in the job market for, I think, about 6 months now, you
Mhm.
said. So what is one piece of advice that you would like to get regarding your job search, or if there's a piece of advice that you'd like to give? I know we would love to hear it, and our viewers would love to hear it.
I think for me, the one biggest piece of advice I can give to other job searchers out there is just try not to let being unemployed become your whole reason for waking up in the morning. I started out like many do, where as soon as I found myself out of a job, I was spending 8 to 10 hours at my desk every morning. I was coming at it like it's my job. And again, you'll see that all over LinkedIn. People say, oh, treat unemployment like it's your job. I'm telling you right now, if you do that, self esteem dips. That's when you start really thinking, oh my gosh, have I ever been good at what I do? Because you start equating the time that you're spending looking for a job and the time that you're spending applying to 20 plus jobs a day. It starts to wear on you and you really start to second guess what you're doing. So my larger scale advice for those that are looking for jobs is give yourself grace. For the love, give yourself some grace. You are going through a lot and your job does not dictate who you are. So I started saying, okay, listen, I'm a morning person. I get up at the butt crack of dawn. I am up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So what I started doing was getting up, taking care of myself, having that cup of coffee. Because without that cup of coffee, listen, I don't know how anyone even freaking like does anything. So have that cup of coffee. I go and I work out. I like to lift weights. So I'm lifting weights in my garage. I come in and I prepare myself for what I'm going to do. And then I say, listen, I'm doing this for 4 hours today. That is all I'm doing. I'm doing it for 4 hours. So make that time count for yourself. Don't don't give up your entire self to this job search.
Yeah.
You are worth it. You're smart. You know what the hell you're doing. And someone out there is going to value you, but you have to value yourself first.
Yeah, I can 100% echo that. And I think I mentioned in our screening call, I've had the joy of being restructured 6 times in my 20 plus years of professional experience. Unfortunately, I always say I've gotten good at it. This time around, my wife said, you're not spending every day, all day upstairs on your laptop hunting for jobs. You're going to take part of the time. We're going to go do stuff around the house, go for a hike, do
Mhm.
something besides staring at the screen and going, why is nobody calling me? And I feel, I'm still waiting for that job. I'm not waiting, I'm trying to find it, but I
Mhm.
feel a lot better this time around
Yes.
because I'm not doing the like, just I'm on here all day long. So completely agree with what you're saying.
I did it. When I started this job search, I was doing that. I was here 8 to 10 hours a day, wondering why am I not getting any interviews, stressing myself out. having a hard time sleeping because, what am I doing? Am I doing it all wrong? And then you're like, oh my God, is my resume not good enough? Is this not good enough? What am I doing? You're not doing
I
anything wrong.
I do want to call something out, Stephanie, that
Sure.
you said one of your marketing powers was empathy, and then that's what you just proved. Through that piece of advice. It was just anchored and rooted and brimming with empathy. And again, I mean, I don't want to be a broken record about this, but like, who doesn't want to have a conversation with somebody like Stephanie who can bring this to the table and spread this to teams and executives? Like, this is a type of energy that makes companies successful. And again, unfortunately, putting empathy on a resume is just going to, fall on deaf ears. So I just wanted to be very clear that you said you had a superpower and you proved it within 20 seconds.
Thank you. No, that's so kind of you to say. I am a people person. I really am. And I think, when I have the opportunity to come into a company, I'm not just like shooting sunshine. That sounded really Southern, but I'm not just, shooting sunshine to say that I care about my team. I care about the people that I work with because, I did have a leader that used to say, and I have this on my board over here, it says a rising tide raises all ships. And that is true.
Mhm.
If you can be that positivity that your organization needs, people will come to you and they'll reflect off of you. So just keep going, people. It can happen. It's going to happen for all of us.
Completely agreed. Very, very wise words. Stephanie, it has been such a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much for being so honest and so sharp. Your voice is really what this show is all about. So we were very, very excited to have you today.
Oh, Doug and David, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been fun. And this is the kind of story, like, as we said, we want to keep getting out there. And to the people watching this, our listeners, you probably have, unfortunately, your own rejection collection. You're not the only person that has the problem. It's not you. The system is broken. Your resume is great. You've got good skills. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this conversation. So it's not you. To her point, keep your head up.
Repeat that mantra. If you're in the job market, it's not me. It's not me. It's not me.
That's right.
Seriously, it's not you.
Yep.
So listen, we want to hear from you. If you're in the job market and you're looking for a new role and you have a story to share, come join us on the Higher Ground Project. Let's get you seen and platformed and heard.
And don't forget, you can always check out Stephanie's profile on Think Strategic Alliances with our incredible sponsor who really are spotlighting fractional marketing leaders like her and driving fractional partner marketing. Great company to talk to.
And please follow us on LinkedIn. Please click that share and like button. Each share and each like is super meaningful to us. It gets our message out and it gets more people seeing the podcast and on the podcast. So please go ahead and do that when you have a moment, especially if this episode hit home. Please share it with somebody in the trenches.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.